So the time is now 1:30 a.m. Eastern Standard, and our next speaker is Veronika Kolesnikova. And Veronika joins us from Boston. She is a Microsoft MVP in AI. She's a software engineer by day and an AI enthusiast by night. She has extensive experience in full stack development, and she's also a public speaker in various technical conferences, user groups, and she's very curious about mobile and augmented reality. She also holds a master's degree in information technology, and she enjoys dancing, traveling, and practicing aerial fitness, which I always find very fascinating. And so, with that, we're glad to have you with us, Veronika. Your presentation is going to be on building an agent with Azure AI Agent Service. And so, with that, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Thank you, Sam. Okay. Hi, everyone. So today we'll be talking about agents and specifically how to build agent with Azure AI Agent Service. And this session is part of that global AI bootcamp, which is really exciting. It's all over the world. Before I move to the actual content, I know Sam introduced me really well. Just a quick slide about me. I'm Veronika Kolesnikova, Microsoft MVP in AI. Also, I'm a senior software engineer at Liberty Mutual in Boston, Massachusetts. So, setting the scene, what are we going to do? We'll be talking about a little bit about bots, but mostly about AI agents. And then I will have walk through a couple of labs those labs they were provided by the global AI community. So you will have access to them. I will probably share a link and you can either follow along or you can grab a link and then do it on your own later or anytime you want because the access is available. It's just publicly posted online. And most likely I won't have enough time to go through all the labs, but maybe I will. So we'll see. But basically, yeah, we'll talk about AI agents, figure out what an agent is, and then what sets them apart from just calling LLMs. Okay, here we have a use case. We are working for an e-commerce selling campaign equipment, and we want to analyze sales data. And here we have a really fun warehouse that you can see. We are selling outdoor and hiking equipment, and we sell mostly online. And we want to use power of AI to actually help us out with data analysis, maybe diagram creation. So what can we do about that? How LLMs can help us with our analysis and maybe provide some suggestions for our business. At this point, we know that LLMs, they're really powerful. We want to figure out what's the best approach to use those LLMs. And we want to create a prompt and maybe interact with those LLMs and see what information they can provide, maybe what advice they can give us. And let's see what LLMs can do for us. So if you are a user, doesn't matter what kind of user, it can be maybe you're a software engineer and you are just figuring out how you want to create a good solution for your analysts to help them out with data analysis, or maybe you are an analyst yourself and you want to just talk to LLMs and see how they can help you. And you might maybe ask something like, I work at an e-commerce selling camping gear, suggest how I can best analyze the sales data. And then response is probably something like that to analyze your sales data effectively, consider using a combination of tools and techniques. So it is really high level. If you are a data analyst, you probably need some more details, maybe specific information related to your specific company and recommendations for your specific case. So when you are building a chatbot, which is based on LLM, or you're just chatting with LLM back and forth, you will have to iterate and go back and ask more questions and maybe provide additional data, maybe include something like retrieval augmented generation, so that LLM has access to your data. And at some point, you're wondering, LLM might not be the right choice because it just the interaction with LLM is too lengthy. You need to ask a lot of additional questions in order to get the answer that you want. Maybe that will push you towards AI agents instead of using just LLMs. So LLMs are really good with completion, but if you need something bigger and better and something that has access to different tools and basically has more power and access and agency, then you can think about building an agent which can connect to different tools, and actually you will need to only ask maybe one or two questions, and then agent can go process the information and then maybe connect to different tools, process your data from database, for example, connect to your analytics tools, for example, and then in the end provide you really good answer, or at least better answer than a generic LLM can provide. So what is an agent? Here, actually, we have a lot of different definitions, and here's one of them. It's a semi-autonomous software that can be given a goal and will work to achieve that goal without you knowing in advance exactly how it's going to do that or what steps it's going to take. So they are more autonomous than just LLMs. Again, they can maybe send, first of all, they can understand what you're asking them, kind of similar to LLMs, but then they have more power. They can connect to different tools, they can connect to different database, they can pull different data, and then actually organize that data and, for example, create a diagram for you, save it somewhere so you can go back and check it out on your own, or provide suggestions based on the information that that agent actually received and processed. What differentiates AI conversations and agents? Basically, agents, they have more power than LLMs. Doesn't mean that LLMs by themselves are completely useless. It just depends what do you want from your either chatbot or agent. So what are we building? I already mentioned that we're going to go through a couple of labs that globally a community provided, but what exactly we're going to do there? We'll be building an agent interacting with pre-trained LLM. And then we have a couple of goals there where we do want to accomplish, like getting a table with data analysis, maybe provide top results from the data that we have. There is so many different frameworks and APIs that can help you to build AI agents. It doesn't have to be on Azure. So something like LangChain and Semantic Kernel, AutoGen, LangGraph. So if you used any of those tools, when you were working with LLMs, you can still use those tools for building your AI agents. Azure AI Agent Service, and it is just an evolution of Assistant API. So if you played with Assistant API, you probably one step ahead between just playing with LLMs and actually building AI agents. And Azure is offering Azure AI Service, which just makes your life easier, helps you to build those agentic apps. And then eventually you can create the multi-agent environment where you can connect different agents together, and then they can communicate and maybe share some information. And some agents, they might be better at one functionality, and others are better at other functionality. And basically, if you're a software engineer, you know that you are sometimes building, for example, those backend services for your application, and then you connect the services. So same thing with agents. You can maybe delegate specific tasks to specific agents, and then create a multi-agent environment. So each agent can do their own task, and then they will provide results, maybe combine those results together for you. Okay. Here I do want to talk a little bit more about the solution that we're going to use for the labs. Actually, it's already basically pre-built solution, so we are not going to build anything from scratch today. We'll be just uncommenting some parts and see how it all works. But overall structure is when you go ahead and build your agent from scratch, you are creating an agent, and then you are creating a thread, and thread is just a unit of conversation. Then you run your agent, check if the run completes, then you return the results. But if it's still running, sometimes it needs to connect to different tools, connect to different databases, and it can take a little bit. So you need to constantly check the status of the run. Once it's done, you can display the agent response. And then for that specific use case that I'm bringing up today, we are going to build Contoso Sales Agent. And we have that high-level instruction there, and that you're an advanced sales analysis agent for Contoso, specializing in assisting users with sales data inquiries. And then you can connect it to different models. So obviously, in the core of every agent is a model. It can be OpenAI model. It can be Llama, Mistral, any kind of model. So it doesn't have to be one. Also, if you build in multi-agent solution, then you can connect to maybe different models, like different agents connect to different models, and then they are combining their results together in the end. And optionally, your agents can connect to your own data using, for example, Azure AI Search, or connect to your files, either local files stored in your local storage or stored in a cloud, maybe Azure Blob or something like that. And then the true power of AI agents is the option to connect to different tools like file search, code interpreter, function call, and bin search, and so on. So agents can do as much or as little as you allow them to do. If you want them to send emails on their own, then you can do it. If you want them to actually go ahead and buy you a new pair of sneakers online, you can do that too if you trust them enough with your credit card. And then, as I mentioned, you are creating a thread for sales analysis, and then the user is posting a message on the thread. So something like, tell me the total sales by region. And then our agent is getting that prompt from the thread, analyzing it, figuring out what exactly that user wants, and then using function calling tool, for example, and the tool is querying SQLite database in our case. So the agent selects the tool itself. You don't have to actually create those instructions step by step for an agent. And then once it's done, it creates a message, and then agent return a message. It can be in any format. It can be JSON. It can be something like displayed here. It can be HTML. So output can be completely different, and you have opportunity to actually set up that requirement, what kind of output you want. And for a different message, like show that information as a pie chart, that agent can go back and it will pick code interpreter tool for this task. And then using the tool, it will create a pie chart and then either displays it or saves it in a folder if you want it to be saved. And yeah, that's the output there. So enough talking. I would like to actually move to the workshop. Again, I can't promise that we're going to finish everything, but you'll have access to that workshop anytime you want. I do recommend to save that URL so you can access it later if you're not planning to do it with me now. But before I go to the workshop, I do want to show you an example of very basic AI agent. Since we're not building it from scratch today, I do want you to understand how that basic agent looks like. So something like that. So here it's on Python. You can use .NET. If you're using semantic kernel, for example, here I'm using Python because the lab is in Python. So something like project client. So here we are creating the agent using specific model, naming the agent, and then providing those high-level instructions or that system message, if you want to call it that. And then after that, creating a thread and then posting a message to that thread. So message is provided by a user and something like, hello, tell me a joke. And here's the output. And then we are creating a run for that agent using that thread and then agent ID. And then we just keep checking the status. Once agent is ready, we are returning the answer back. And here's just a cleanup with deleting the agent. And there are options to create list messages if you have several messages and you want your AI agent to process all those messages. So it's just an example of a simple AI agent. We are going to use something more complicated here. That code is already, oh, no, lost my code spaces. Anyway, do we have any questions while it's reloading?
Yeah, there's a question in chat, excuse me, asking for the URL for the agent workshop.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let me copy that. Okay, here. Here it is. Just posted it in the chat.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I saw you're using SQLite, which I know you can use on a single computer or laptop. Is there a version of that or something similar that can also store audio, PDFs, images, and things?
Yeah. Yeah. I think on one of the slides, I had an option for maybe using Azure blobs, or if you want to connect it to local storage, or maybe if you have like your
No,
server.
specifically the local on your own computer storage. Is there a version of SQL that you know that can handle those real world files?
I think there are. I haven't used SQLite a lot, honestly, but I'm pretty sure that there are options to do that on your local machine.
Thank you.
Yeah, no
Okay.
problem.
Is it possible, can I go back to your slide that showed that showed the overview of this? I didn't grab a screenshot of that before you get started in.
Oh, the
Real quick.
URL.
No, the one that showed the overview of what we're doing, where you start. Oh, it was a PowerPoint. Never mind if it's too far back. Yeah.
This one?
Let me just grab a screenshot of that.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
good.
sure.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so what we are doing here, I shared the screenshot. I'm just gonna walk through the setup here. I already did it ahead of time because it takes a little bit. But basically, you can open the code spaces there. It's going to be so much easier, especially if you don't use Python a lot and maybe you don't have set up on your local machine. Then code spaces is your lifesaver. Everything is set up there, so you don't need to worry about anything. You just open the code and run with it, basically. Also, they do have deployment scripts available. I already deployed everything. So once you deploy, you will get something like that. Be mindful about those Azure resources because, you know, the more resources you have, the more you're going to be charged. So once you're done with your labs, be mindful about deleting those resources. But you see that I have Azure AI services to connect to OpenAI models. And then I have that Azure AI project and then hubs there. I think there should be just one. I created two probably by mistake, or I ran it twice when I tried it. Anyways, it should be just one hub, and then storage is going to be used for some of the analytics. You don't have to have it if you build in real agent, and then the Azure, again, Azure AI services is just for our model. You can do it from here. You can run the scripts, or you can actually go to that Azure AI portal and then do it from there. So you'll create your Azure AI project and then hub inside, and then you'll create the Azure AI service and deploy your model. But basically here, scripts, they do everything for you. And if you go through the lab setup, you'll see how to do that. Yeah, pretty easy. And the first lab there is calling a function here. We are enabling function calling. So here's the main file where we are enabling different tools. The first one is function calling. Let me close that. Oh. I uncommented the toolset with functions and also instruction file here. So here we do have instructions files. The first one is that function calling. So here basically instructions for our agent, or eventually it's just LLM behind the scene. And here like the high level message, that system message that you need to have, and then more specific guidelines for LLM, what it can do. And there are some variables here. So we'll be using database schema string, and then the agent will be actually querying the table. And then database. So we do have database here. It's all local for this AI agent. And then some other instructions that the agent has to be mindful about. And some guidance for help, like in case your user doesn't know what agent can help with. There are some examples, and then some guidelines how to interact with user overall. So going back to this file, and if you go back to the description of the lab, actually the setup, they are providing detailed overview of pretty much each file that's in here. I think main file is obviously the main file where we are creating the agent itself, and then connecting to different tools. And we're using that Azure AI projects library here. And yes, so for the first lab, what that function calling is doing, it is basically going to the database, and then it queries the database and then returns answers to the user. And we can ask, since I uncommented those lines here, I have a couple of examples what I can ask. But first, let me run the agent. So oh, no, it's doing something. Okay, so it is creating. I really like how they have those outputs there. So we are creating an agent. When you actually have an agent running, you don't have to create it every time. So maybe, but to create a new thread, you do need to do it every time. Or if you want to reuse the thread, there are also options to use some memory. So your agent remembers some older conversations. And, memory can be something as simple as just storing those conversations in a database or in the cloud, or just keep your agent running and remembering stuff for you. So it can be in the code, it can be stored in a database. Okay, start conversation. What we can ask. Here are a couple of examples. So something like, what were the sales by region? And we can see, actually, let me make it a little larger here. So we can see that it was using function calling tool, and that's the query. Oh, no, sorry, that's the query that it created. And then it connected to the database and executed that query, and then return that information, and then return it in that table format. And we can see that it's friendly and it wants us to ask more questions. So let's ask something like total shipping cost by region. And we can also ask something like help in Italian and see if it's going to respond in Italian. I honestly don't know Italian, so I don't know why I picked that. But yeah, no, that looks like Italian to me. If anyone here speaks Italian, you can attest. Um, that's the benefit of using LLMs that are multilingual. You can always connect to small language models if you're sure that you need only one language or one specific task to be processed. And the model picking is a separate talk, and you can use any model, so it doesn't have to be GPT-4o or something big. You can use small language models, for example, or vision language models. So any models can be used with AI agents. Okay. And next, we are gonna show the three most recent transactions. Okay, and here you can see that it provides specific information that it needs. So we need to provide region, product type, or a specific criteria, and then it will provide more specific information. So let's do something like show sales by category for Europe. So here you can see it came up with the query itself, and then it added limit 30 because we have it in our instructions up to 30 rows here. And then if we go in back to the code here, we see different functions available. And then the data. So if you want to check how it's actually working and what the code is, again, since we're not building it from scratch, it might be a little confusing at first because it's already built and it's already working for you. We just need to uncomment a couple of things. But that file is providing sales data. So it's connecting to the database here. I'm not going to open it now, but sales data, and then basically you connecting to the database and then creating, connecting to specific tables, and then, getting the regions and all that. So it's all in that file. If you want to check every file and how it works and what exactly is in there, it is all available for you. And then we'll move to let's ask another question. So for example, if we do something like
Quick question, and maybe I did get a little bit lost. Are you using the GPT-4 or are you using Bing? That was at the beginning of your setup, right?
yeah, so here actually if you open the lab and you go to the setup tab, you'll see the script that is running and creating those resources. But so what I have here is connecting is Azure AI service connected to GPT-4o.
Okay. Yeah, I said in the comments it looked like it was talking about Bing, so I was confused on that page.
Not
Okay.
sure. Yeah, so if you want to connect your Azure AI agent to search, Bing was just an example that you can connect to. You
Okay.
can use Azure AI Search, you can use Bing, you can use your local search. It's just an option of a tool that you can connect your agent to.
Okay. Thanks for letting me interrupt. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so going back here, yeah, so let me exit from here and go to lab 2 and go through the code interpreter there. So I'm going back to that main file. And the code interpreter actually enables LLM to generate Python code for tasks. Maybe for this specific case, the task is to create a chart or maybe perform something more complex, like perform data analysis based on user queries. So as you saw in previous lab, we didn't need to create those SQL queries ourselves. The LLM or the agent actually created all those queries for us, which is really convenient. And then what we do here in that second lab is we are going to ask the agent to create those pie charts for us. So it will generate that Python code, and then it will execute it within a secure sandbox environment and create those pie charts for us. So what we do here, we gonna uncomment second instruction file, and we can have as many as we want. So the second one is called interpreter, and we see again those high-level instructions here. Those are system messages, and then the tools that it can use. It can again connect to the database. And then second tool is data visualization. So it can test and display visualization code using the code interpreter, and then it will retry if there are errors. And then it will create a chart or graph, and then create that PNG file with for the chart, and then using file path to actually to save it, and then also some high level guidance, kind of same as we saw before, and conduct guidelines. So that's how your AI agent will interact with your users. So let's go back here. We'll do a code interpreter. So you can see we created a tool set, and then we're just adding different tools. They don't have to be the same tools as I'm using here. It can be different ones. But so that code interpreter tool is coming from that Azure AI library. So you don't need to actually reinvent the tool itself. You just need to connect it and then provide those instructions to your AI agent. So, okay, we uncommented that, and we will run the agent again. Since, we stopped it and then restarted it, we created a new agent here and then created a new thread again. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna ask it to show sales by region as a pie chart. You see, it might take a little bit for your agent to actually go back, connect to the database, come up with a SQL query, and then call another tool, create a pie chart, and then save it to a folder. So let me see. We can open it here. So that's the pie chart that was created. So we see that sales are the highest in North America, and then after that it's China and Europe. So it is this file here. So I created the folder, created the file for you. If you don't want to save those files, you don't have to, but that was one of the instructions for the AI agent there. So what we're gonna do, let me actually ask it to download it as JSON. Yeah, no, first we'll download the sales by region data here. So by default, the data is in CSV format. And again, it saved it here. You can provide different instructions and then save it in another format, or just don't save it at all. Just display them as a table, as we saw in the previous lab. And then we can also download the sales as a JSON file. So we got the JSON file, we got CSV file, and then we got the pie chart. And that's basically just using that code interpreter tool and the function calling. Okay, so that's that with lab number 2. And we move into lab number 3 there. Let me stop it first to exit. So we're still using just LLM. We're just allowing it to connect to different tools. But still, the knowledge that LLM has, it's more generic. It doesn't know much about maybe our specific rules or documentation. The only connection it has to our resources is connection to that SQL database. If we want to enhance the responses and maybe use our internal company guidelines, we can use a RAG style approach, so retrieval augmented generation, and augment the responses with something like that. So we do have a PDF document here with some information about those tents in some of the products that we have. So the LLM itself, again, it doesn't know about our specific products, but if we have, so here we have only one PDF file, but if we have maybe online documentation, maybe we have the whole folder with different files or web pages, then we can connect our agent to that information And it doesn't have to be in a file. It can be in a database. So it will be a separate connection for data analysis, and then maybe connection to a different database for specific information about the products that we are selling. So let's try to use the file search tool. So we'll create here on comments those things. So we'll be creating a vector storage. That, and then they use that one file that we have to create it. Oops. And then we'll be using that file search tool and add it to the tool sets that our agent can access. So first of all, we are creating the vector storage. It's just, we don't have to do that, but it's just easier, especially, here we have maybe just one file with not a lot of information in it, but if you have a lot of files, the search will be much more relevant and much faster if you create an vector storage. But you can connect it to, I already mentioned that you can connect it to Azure AI Search, for example, or Bing. You can connect it to outside search. Maybe give it permission to do online search if you don't need to search for specific documents that you have and want to just connect it to the web. Okay, so I uncommented that, and now we have all the three tools connected, and I do need to uncomment that one too. If instructions for file search, and we'll check them out here. So now we have three tools included. So again, high level overview or system message. And then for each tool, we do have specific information here. We have that sales data assistance with connection to the database. And then search that Contoso product information vector store for additional Contoso product information. And then again, we have that visualization and code interpretation. So we still can create those pie charts and save CSV files and JSON files. And again, those high-level instructions. So we'll go back here. And start it. And now you see that extra step. Make it bigger. Extra step. So I uploaded that file, that PDF file to a vector store. And then and now it's available. After that, we created agent again and created a new thread. So if you go to one of those files, I think, which was in, so you can see how it works behind the scene. All the the messages, the databases, the data stores, they are all created using the code here. But as you can see, there are not too many files for that. So you don't need to write a lot of code, which is really convenient. So going back here, We want to ask something specific about the products that we are selling. So let's do that. What brands of tents do we sell? And now it actually knows about the tents that we are selling. Ideally, it has to be a link, but it is not a link right now. But you can see that's the PDF where it took it from. And let's ask something like, what were the sales for the year in 2024 by region? So that's that first tool that we connected. We created the query, connected to the database, and returned that information to us. And then the second tool, the code interpreter that created pie chart. Oops, you can do it again for us. Oh, no, that's not the pie chart. I lied. Sorry. Here, so we just add in the brand names. I think I copied the wrong line. But anyways, so it just add in the brand names to existing table. So it kind of combine the information from the database with the information from the PDF and then return it. It returned it all at once. So yeah, it got that brand name, Alpine gear, from the PDF file. Not from the PDF file directly, but from the vector storage that we created from the PDF file, and then added it here. And yes, so that's lab number 3. I know I went through them super fast because I wanted to finish all of them before my time is up, and I only had an hour. And there is no real fourth lab, and fourth lab is just basically an overview. You want to debug and troubleshoot and ask some questions, because you know the questions that they have in the lab, they are kind of pre-built and they're pretty straightforward. But if you can find a tricky way or maybe tricky questions, and it's a good way to debug. Also, it's very important to use those AI tools, AI agents, LLMs in a responsible way. So once you actually you're done building your AI agent locally, you're ready to deploy it, you can get all the benefits of Azure there. Use your monitoring, use your evaluation tools. Actually, evaluation tools, they can be very useful. Evaluation tools and responsible AI tools that are available inside that Azure AI portal. So you can pick the best model using those tools. Also, you can see if your agent is performing well. There are connections to logs. There are connections to maybe you can generate your maybe you can use LLMs to generate the questions and then automatically test your AI agent with those generated questions. So I mentioned that AI portal a couple of times. I'm gonna just go there in case you haven't seen it. It's Azure AI Foundry. I call it AI portal. Yeah, but that's how it looks. Go here. and you have access to, you can create your agent here, by the way, or you can create it from the Azure portal, or you can use the scripts, you can use the code, and then the models. You can see that GPT-4o was deployed. You can test the model separately in the playground even before you start creating an agent. You can create a different model, access to the whole model catalog here, and then have your database connected here. So we don't have any specific database because we just used SQLite on our local machines. And yeah, you can use the tracing, evaluation, safety tools. I can't overstate the importance of using those tools when you are just planning to build your solution. Doesn't have to be an agent. And then once you're done building your solution, you need to keep monitoring if it's actually behaving right and providing relevant information. And also, people, some of them, they might abuse the system, and you do want to catch it ahead of time before it's too late. So I do recommend to use all those evaluation and monitoring tools there. And yeah, I think we still have 5 minutes. So if anyone has questions, let me know.
Any questions for Veronika? Doesn't look like it, just a lot of static. Well done, Veronika.
I think I lost my camera.
I'm not sure where that static is coming from, but thank you for taking the time to present. I know it was a busy day for you. And you've always been an active participant with the Azure Cleveland user group, as well as previous boot camps and prior years. So appreciate your dedication and your effort and taking the time today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm always happy to be here.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of, or enjoy your weekend, I should say.
Thank you.